That's right. It's death metal and drum legends here on that Jamieson show. Welcome, everybody. It's another Tuesday, and right here in the studio is the band you just saw. Please welcome Gatecreeper. What's up, guys?
Yeah, man.
We got Chase, Matt, Eric, and we got Sean and Nate over in the balcony over there.
Yo.
Here we go.
Yo.
And we're giving away our next guest sitting back there as well. Carmine Apiece is here with a great band that he's sort of taken under his wing. So lots to do, but let's get right to it. Now, we were just talking before we got started. How does a band like Gatecreeper get heckled at a show? You said you got heckled last night. It's so weird.
Yeah.
You guys are so brutal.
I don't think that it was. I don't think it was personally just for us. I think they would have heckled anybody who was on the stage. I think they were just in that sort of mood. Yeah.
Those things happen. Yeah. But like, I'm a comic. I expect it. When you got, when you're playing death metal, you don't really expect a guy to be yelling stuff out. But I guess
in between songs.
Yeah. They try to sneak something in real quick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right. Well, you said that you had a great heckle in Chicago once.
Yeah.
Drinking out of a...
Yeah, I was drinking out of a hydro flask, and some guy just yelled, "What are you drinking? Soup!" That was it. I don't know.
Everyday heckle.
Yeah, you're bracing for this awful insult, and it's just like, oh, yeah.
Soup. Yeah, we like to drink clam chowder on stage.
Yeah, right. That's good for the vocal cords, right? Yeah. So, man, it's amazing the buzz that's going on with you guys now. And I couldn't, it's funny, man, because it's sort of been my dirty secret for like the last 12 years, how much I've really gotten into death metal. And I guess it always seems to be like a gateway drug for any genre of hard rock or metal where you sort of like, it gets you into the next phase. For me, it was Amon Amarth.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Where I started to get more into death metal. For people, who aren't really familiar with you guys or maybe saw that clip and were like, whoa, that's a little heavy for me. What should be their gateway drug? What will lead people into a Gatecreeper still?
Slayer.
Yeah.
Slayer.
Slayer's the gateway drug for everything, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know. I think for me, getting into death metal and then into like the more old school death metal is the more stuff that I like. The '90s stuff was Black Dahlia Murder.
Yeah.
When I was in high school and then
that
the first record came out. I think a lot of people that are our generation, our age group, that might have been the first kind of entry level. But that's kind of like what we're trying to do with our new record, and what we're trying to do is like trying to be that entry point for people who maybe they're not the core death metal audience, or maybe they're interested in it, or so we write songs in pretty standard rock song structure with verses and choruses,
right.
And there's hooks in it, there's melodies, there's memorable parts, so that it's not just fully extreme all the time, and there's no just a linear song structure. We try to have memorable stuff so that people who aren't just into death metal will maybe be drawn to it, and maybe we'll be the entry point to get into other bands.
Yeah, you guys can be the gateway drug.
Like Amon Amarth, you said. I mean, that band, think about their crowd. I mean, people that are really deep into death metal like it, but then also really mainstream people like it. And it's because they write good songs that are catchy, and they're
they're
they get stuck in your head, and we try to do that.
Yeah, with all their melodies and stuff, they're like the modern Iron Maiden in a lot of ways, but just with the heavier vocal, which I think people are getting more and more open to. But again, it seems like somebody's got to break down that wall, so that, because I agree with you, man. I think, and let's show a still of the new album, which is called Deserted, which is a phenomenal album. It's out now, so go pick it up. There it is. And I think it's an album that doesn't just necessarily appeal to death metal fans. I think just fans who like heavy music can groove on it, like you said, because there is great song structure and different time changes and things, and a chorus that people can kind of grasp onto, which is cool. So
it's extreme, but has a flow to it.
We hear all the time, like I hear individually, like completely outside of the tours, like people that don't like death metal like our band. They're like, oh, I don't usually listen to heavy stuff, but but your stuff is really catchy. I really enjoyed it. I hear that constantly, like in random spots. So like,
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like we're achieving our goal with this.
There's something going on.
Yeah, I was dancing to it the other day.
Yeah, there's a lot.
What you got going on?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, let's see it.
we don't have time today. We have other things to get
Your
to. But
performance.
and this is the previous full length, or I think this is your first one, right?
Yeah.
Which is also the previous one, Sonoran Deprivation.
Got it right.
You said it right, bro.
You're the only person.
Well,
How do you? I'm proud of you.
and I bought it on vinyl. I still have to buy the new one on vinyl. But so Sonora and Deserted with the word desert in it. So you guys are from Arizona.
Yeah.
Are.
Obviously, that plays into your geography, plays into the
Everything.
artwork, the style
Yeah.
of music. You know, how do you feel that applies?
I think it's something that it seeps into everything that we do, and we've kind of embraced it and played it up a little bit just because there's not a whole lot coming from Arizona. It's a pretty unique thing that we're from Arizona.
Yeah.
I mean, we have good bands right now, and there's been bands in the past, but it's not a hot spot that you, especially for death metal, where if you have like Florida or right now like Denver or Pacific Northwest, there's a lot of death metal bands, but it's something that's unique, so it's something that we're proud of. So
We're just proud. I love Arizona, and we were, all three of us were born there.
Yeah.
And Sean too. And Nate's been there for a long time, so it's like, just love Arizona. Why not?
No, I agree. But I always loved the bands over the years that they wear where they're from on their sleeves.
Sure.
Alice Cooper, and Ted Nugent, always proud to say they're from Detroit. Even Kid Rock, same thing, whether you like him or not. He wears Detroit on his sleeve. I love when the bands don't forget about where they're from.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cool that you incorporate it into all aspects of what you do, which is cool. And I do definitely want to talk about the artwork, because particularly in metal, but really in death metal a lot, is like the artwork is such a huge part of it, which is why I always love to get it on vinyl. So, talk about, how you come up with the ideas for the different the logo. By the way, I should mention. Now, do you ever get picked on by other death metal bands because your logo is actually readable?
Well, we have there's
You're
a
not
newer,
true death metal unless you can't read the logo whatsoever, right?
Yeah. Well, it's evolved a little bit. If you look at the one on the new record, it's a little bit different.
It's a little more intense.
It's a little, yeah. So it's evolving. It's the same logo, but it's evolving.
Yeah.
For me, I talked about before, like old school death metal that we really like, and it's like we're influenced by. For me, a death metal album, a full length album, should have a really cool painting on the cover, like all the classic ones. There's Dan Seagrave was an artist who did a lot of the album covers. So for me, in a kind of like traditionalist sense, that a full-length death metal album should have a cool painting on it.
Yeah.
So we got Adam Burke to paint this one, and then our newest one is, the artist's name is Brad Moore. We got
Okay.
him to paint
And
it.
you guys work with him directly?
Yeah.
On
So we commissioned it specifically for our album. So
cool. The thing that I kept trying, every time I would listen to you guys, I would be like, I was trying to find the thing that I'm hearing in there, and this might not be intentional, but for some reason I hear Celtic Frost in there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I've read a bunch of interviews that you've done, and Celtic Frost has never been mentioned, and I'm like, I know I'm hearing it in there, whether, like I said, whether it's intentional or not, but it's in there.
Oh, for sure.
I think Celtic Frost is one of those bands where, the more direct bands that we're influenced by Celtic Frost. It's kind of like if you're in a metal band, you're influenced by Black Sabbath. Just
Yeah.
if you're influenced by any band whatsoever in metal, you're influenced by Black Sabbath. Same could be said for Iron Maiden or Slayer, and this sort of thing. It all kind of traces back to that.
Mm-hmm.
So we all like Celtic Frost. I think the more references and influences that the names that are dropped is more recent than that, or bands that are influenced by Celtic Frost. But I mean, that's a
Because you are a younger band, and like I said, making such a huge buzz on the scene, not only in death metal, but just in the extreme music scene in general. What's different now about doing it? Like, what are the kind of things young bands do now, especially with you guys, besides being consistent with the music, which you are, 2 full lengths, a couple EPs, a bunch of splits? What are the other things that kind of keep you guys out there?
Well, I think as a whole, we're just a little bit older than a lot of the younger bands that are coming out now. We're all closer to 30, so I was already doing stuff in my life that I thought I had my life planned before the band, and then it kind of just turned into this. But we're all in a good place too to realize what we want. We're a goal-oriented band. We're not trying to like party a lot and do a bunch of stuff like that. We're just trying to make good music, and I think for me that has made a difference, being in a place in my life where I could put more energy into it and a very focused kind of energy. So
Cool, and obviously the use of social media and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a thing. As far as like sticking out or paying attention to the details besides the music, like you said, you got to have good songs, you got to have riffs, you got to have the tracks. But on top of that, the art you mentioned, having good art for everything is really important. Especially we're a very visual society. So whether you're scrolling on your phone, if the album cover doesn't catch someone's eye, then you already lost their attention.
Well, then at the same time, at the core of it is just going and doing it. Like, there's so many bands that we wanted to take out on tour with us, but they can't commit to doing a 5-week tour. And I know it's hard, but it's like we'd make it happen.
Yeah.
It's hard to go out for 5
So
weeks.
you're doing this full time now.
I mean, we're
Yeah,
working on
close.
it. I mean, we'd have to now because we're just literally out full time.
Yeah, no, we just constantly going. Yeah,
We're like, this is what we're gonna do. Let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
I think that
totally
separates a lot of
stepped
bands.
away from management positions in my work. I was been there for like 12 years, same job. I stepped all the way down to part-time, got rid of everything just so I could do this. Like, this is what we wanted. And it kind of came out of the blue, but we decided to make that leap,
Right, and you guys obviously have a common vision for the band. And like you said, there's just so much stuff out there. And if you don't have something that catches people's eye, is there any band you guys can think of that, like, because I know for me, in terms of just seeing the artwork on an album that made me buy it was Iron Maiden Killers. Because I was just into Kiss at the time, but I just saw that and I'm like, I don't even know what this sounds like, but I have to buy it. Is there any bands like that for you guys?
When I was little, my friend, we were really little, and he got that Misfit CD or the tape, and it was the Plan 9 one that has it's green with a skull on it.
Yeah.
We were had no idea what it was, and we just got it because there was a skull. And we were like, that's sick.
when I was younger and just getting into death metal and stuff like that, it was just before like the streaming age. So you go to the record store, you kind of had to take a chance. I got my allowance. I had $20 for the week, and I was gonna pick something. So I did that a lot. One of the ones that I really remember buying based off the album cover and really liking was Suffocation, Souls to Deny. So that was early 2000s.
Real
and
extreme
that was
artwork,
kind of
yeah.
at the time when I was just getting into death metal, and so that was a good one for me.
Chase, anybody for you that stands out?
I think a lot of the album covers that I was talking about before with Dan Seagrave, he did Carnage, Dark Recollections, Entombed, Left Hand Path. He did a lot of the Dismember records, all of the classic ones. He did those. So that's kind of my entry point of oh wow, this is what an album cover should look like.
Yeah.
Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah,
Right, of course, yeah.
Cannibal Corpse for me, Bloodthirsty. When I saw that, I was
So
like,
sick.
I probably need to listen to this. That and The Bleeding. Was I
Right.
think Vince Locke does all of their work, and
So
he
sick.
does this really detailed, gory comic book stuff, and I love stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
as soon as I saw it when I was 14, 15, getting into the heavier side of new metal at the time, because that's what was out.
Okay,
I was
good.
just like, okay, this is probably what I need next.
As long as you get nobody said Katy Perry or anything, we're in good shape.
Sabbath,
Yeah.
Bloody Sabbath, bro. That painting, the painting on Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. If that doesn't warp your mind when you're a kid, there's something wrong with you.
Me and Matt saw Katy Perry not too long, a decade ago.
It was
fun.
quite a while ago at this point. Yeah.
Don't say that.
I smell a tour here. Katy Perry
us up,
featuring
Katy.
Gatecreeper.
Hey, we're down.
Hit us up, Katie.
Let's work it out.
That might get me to a Katy Perry show. But so speaking of shows, you're on tour now with a bunch of other bands, right?
Yeah, it's a co-headline tour with us and Exhumed.
Okay.
And then we've got Necrot and Judiciary.
Cool.
It's a 4-band package.
Death Metal Feast.
It's a
Yeah.
badass lineup.
Package.
Yeah, last night in Philly, tonight in Brooklyn at the Brooklyn Bazaar.
Yeah.
You guys kick ass, man. Thank you so much for coming in, and congrats on all the success.